All right. Well, I guess I will have to do that
This way.
offline, but I will show you real quick. If you are already in it, how you would go to, and I usually try to go to the most recent version that it was being taught. And when you're taking content from the live site and moving it to the test site, instead of copying, you're importing and exporting. Which, never mind. There's nothing in this. That would not be very helpful.
So I can take.
Oh, because the fall placeholders are here. So I'm going to go to the spring one just because it's going to have the 15-week and not a shortened version like summer. Okay. And under the course tools, course admin, for the import export copy, they're all under the same little category. But since we're going to take it from the live site to test site, first we're going to have to export it. And so we would do export as a Brightspace package. And this takes forever. That's why I tried to do it for you guys last week. And in this instance, yes, we want to take everything. And then I always click files just if there are any images and whatnot that you want to make sure everything goes. And it does. It takes forever because it's really huge. When it's all done, Brightspace will give you a little orange dot up here that's going to tell you that, do I have a sample? That you're, like right here, that would tell you that your export is finished.
Okay.
And then you would be able to download, and it'll download as a zip file. And then once you go back to the test site.
Oh, so you do the import export part on the actual site.
Yeah, you take that from live, then you go back to course admin.
Okay.
Now we're on the test site now. So we've exported it, now we're going to import it.
Okay.
And that's where we would pull up the zip file that we had grabbed. I think I already deleted. It'll look like this, whatever you're going to pull in. And yeah, it takes forever.
Okay.
And then you would say import all components, and yeah, it takes a really long time.
So if I have created a sandbox for my class, and I work on one section of it, and Angie is working on another section, can I import from my sandbox just my portion? Does that make sense? Or will it mess up? Can multiple people work on the same course at the same time and import different bits? Or are our sandboxes all separate and all gonna look different?
Unfortunately, when it comes to importing and exporting, it's you have to download it as a zip file, so it's all of it.
Okay.
So I would say do as much as you can in the sandbox. Then when you move it over, you can do your final edits. Make sure that your everything is hidden. I mean, technically until I'm gonna go back to live.
Yeah, I was just trying to figure out how to, because I don't want to mess up what she's doing. So maybe I just play with it, figure out how to make my stuff look right, and then just add it once she's got it live.
Yeah.
That might be easier than trying to do it in the two separate sandboxes, it sounds like.
Mm-hmm. It does get tricky having multiple spoons in the pot, so to speak.
Yeah, that's what we were just wondering, running into different ones of us working on different parts of it and how to get it best combined, but she probably has the largest portion, so I'll just wait to add.
I'm just glad you have the sandbox so you can kind of familiarize yourself. Yeah, okay, so now it's telling me that thing is exported. I'm going to go ahead and download. It says 33 minutes. It doesn't take hours. It does take a little. That was crazy. I don't know if you saw how tiny that is, but it said it would take 33 hours. It does take a while. I will usually like multitask. I'll download and then go back
Do
and
something else. Okay.
yes. Okay. So we did a little bit of a recap from last week because I think I didn't completely touch on open the launch. That there are templates and how to copy and how to import, how to export. Those instructions are in the B2 content.
So, am I missing B2 content?
Yeah, I didn't.
I don't have any B2 content.
Did you take the Brightspace 1 quiz?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I thought I got another one. Let me make sure.
I think yesterday when I was double checking some things, there was a release condition that was preventing me from seeing anything B2. So yeah, I think that you have to, there is something that has to be done.
B2, let me look. Says,
Yeah, I took the quiz.
No.
says in order to get the B2, you have to take the B2 quiz.
Oh, good luck.
Which would make no sense, so let's change that.
At least I didn't have to stand on my head.
Welcome to being our test subject.
Glad to help out.
We appreciate it.
Actually, can you stand on your head?
No.
I used to.
Oh, darn, okay, good.
I don't know if I still can. It's been a couple years.
The Brightspace 1 quiz. Yes, go ahead and reload. Now, since I just changed that,
Yay.
so, oh, never mind.
Got it.
That answers my
Wait.
question. I was like, will they be able to see it now that I just changed it?
I just refreshed and it popped in. Okay, we're with ya.
Yay!
B2. Got it. Got it.
Yes.
Yay.
Okay, so that's kind of a good recap from last week of the course import export is here with those instructions if you ever need to get back to them. And then there is a video and of course a little printed version because we like to have both options. You know, I'm gonna go ahead and go into the student view just so I can make sure that we're all able to see the same things. Or not. It still doesn't want to. Okay. Can you see the B3 content? Because this week we are doing B3.
Oh.
No.
Oh, so we need to take the B2 quiz. We didn't do the B2 quiz because we didn't have that content open. We only did the B.
Ah,
So we have,
Sorry.
so we have to
Just open
do,
it up for them.
yep, so we have to do the
Yeah.
B2 quiz.
Or do you want to take the time to review B2 quiz?
do you want to do the B2? We can do the B2 quiz.
Okay, go for it.
We'll
Then
do
that'll be
that.
done. You don't have to mess with it.
Do you have, okay, so we both have,
Yes.
we're good. What's your first question?
Which of the following items can you add to your module when you click create upload?
All of the above?
All of the above.
What button would you click on within a module to add your PowerPoint slides?
Create
Oh.
upload? No.
Button would you click on within a module to add? Yeah,
Create upload.
create upload. That sounds good to me. How would you create a web page in your module?
Create a link.
Sure.
This is the one that's kind of a misnomer. It's create a file.
It is create a file. We did talk about that. I can copy only select components from one course to another. Copy only certain quizzes. Yes, true. And which course tool can be associated to item in the gradebook? Assignments, discussions, I don't know what intelligent agents are.
So it's not that one.
Discussions, quizzes,
It's not that one.
with the other three?
Yeah. No intelligent agents. I mean, that'd be kind of cool, but.
So intelligence agents are those things that we do, like, you know, and don't let the students move on until they do this piece.
Oh, okay.
Gotcha. Okay, so now we should, on a good day, be able to see
B3,
B3. Feel like we're playing bingo.
is it there?
It is.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, we did not cover intelligent agents, but let me get back one page back. Yeah, it is being slow in here, even in my office. A little video on intelligent agents and release conditions, which,
Okay.
given that they've already given a few hurdles to us, I would say it might be worthwhile to kind of look through those. I would say, just for pacing purposes, I like the concept, but if students aren't aware that X has to be done before you get to Y, that you would almost need to be explicit in saying, you know, especially if it's like a checklist that you have to do before you can even get to, you know, module 2, to let them know. Because sometimes, even when just now, like, we're like, why can't you see it? If you have put something out of sequence, like you have to take the quiz before that module, before you can see the module. Like, I can see how helpful they are, but also they can be a little bit of a hindrance. So that is in the supplemental content of B2.
Okay.
So here we are. After 12:20, and we're gonna look finally at B3. Thankfully, I would say the first two pieces are pretty cut and dry. I almost feel like since we are having kind of a hands-on next week, that we'll definitely delve more into the quiz tool, just because there are lots of little bits and pieces that need more investigation. But just for today, I will kind of give you the high points of the quiz tool. But first and foremost, we're going to go to the assignments. There are different types of assignments that you can upload. The most common, that you can create is the most common would be an upload. And a lot of faculty do put that they want it as a PDF. You know what, I'm gonna go into an actual course so I can show you better what the options look like. As Mark was saying earlier, with the reason we're not liking new content experience is that it doesn't want to render a PDF and it prefers PDFs. So your submission types, it won't let me edit because people have already submitted. We'll just create a new one.
Sony, can you zoom in on your screen?
Yes.
It's very small on ours.
Is that better?
Is that better?
Yes, thank you.
Okay. All right. In all but the discussion tool, you're going to have these little pop-outs that are on the right side. And in the second one, the submission and completion, this is where you pick the type of submission that it's going to be. And usually it's more often than not, it's going to be a file submission, like if it's a paper. But you can also do text submission, and that literally is just giving them a text box, like if you want a short answer or just a confirmation that they've completed the task, or if you want them to provide you a URL, like if they have created a video elsewhere, like a YouTube video, they put it there. Your other options are an on-paper submission. So it's literally like if, you know, they've handed you a physical piece of paper, and then of course observed in person, which is good for speeches, or if it's kind of an activity, like a volunteer activity or something that you're giving them points for, that there's no tangible thing that you're going to be assessing. your primary types of activities. So in the creating a new assignment, of course, you have to give it a name. You can give it points. Not everything has to be in the grade book. You can set it as ungraded. Sometimes, and that would be my example of the tech submission, if you wanted them to say that they read the syllabus, or I think one of the, yeah, just yesterday I was having somebody that, as you know, proof that they read whatever the chapter was, they had to give 5 questions they would ask someone about the content that they had just covered. So it's just a quick thing, and it wasn't something that they wanted put in the grade book, but it was an activity that they wanted, you know, documented. You got here where you can put your due date, and then just up here, not scrolling. The very first one of these pop outs is where you put a start date. I do want to kind of point out that your end date is when they can no longer submit after. So your start date is when they can see the assignment, and the due date and end date, you can leave this blank, but if you're going to put an end date, I would generally say match it with the due date. This piece right here for special access, it is a little bit different than if you have accommodations. I will show you in a second how to do accommodations. If you have a student that has a medical emergency, or you know, some sort of family issue, they need an extension, this is where you would add that person. Close real quick. Make this very important. It usually defaults to this one because you're giving just one person special access. If you click this one, it means only that person is getting special access. I've had that come up a couple times, that you leave it at that very first one, and then it would give you your roster of students to pick from, and then you set the time frame. You know, generally it's outside of whatever the usual test time frame is, but it's specific just to that person. And we're going to go over rubrics in a different session, but this last one would be where you would add a rubric, you had one, and then if you're going to use Turnitin for written assignments, to enable the similarity score, which is kind of cross-checking for plagiarism. It's an academic integrity piece. And you can also set it up for to enable online grading, so that when you click on their paper, you can make little notes that will save to the paper when they look at their score. Cancel out of this one. So for the assignment, there's a whole bunch of little pop-outs, and I do have all of those, you know, like further explained in the required content. So if you wanted to go back and look at those, but those were the big pieces for creating a new assignment. So after your assignment is in there, you've created it in the course tools, then you can go to whatever week that you want to put that assignment. Then you drop down to existing activities, and you go to the assignment, and then you pick whichever one that it was that you just created that you want to put in that week. And that's literally just kind of putting a placeholder to that assignment that would then just open it from the corresponding course tool. It's sort of the same with discussions. You would create your discussion here. The course shell, as we call it, will typically have a set of weekly discussions that kind of match with the modules, just because they are tedious to set up. For your discussions, you have this heading piece, which is called the forum, and it's literally kind of a placeholder. Think of it as the big green folder that your little manila folders go in. So you have to have this folder that these folders go in. So this forum, and then you create your topic that goes in it. So these are the topics. And unfortunately, this is the last of the tools that hasn't been set with those little pop-out properties over here on the right. They're up at the top. And the wording, the names don't really match anymore. Your restrictions is where you would put it into the gradebook. Give it the the dates. Sorry, the assessment is where you put it in the grade book. I can't tell if somebody's talking in the room or if that was the hallway.
That was the hallway.
The
Man,
audio is back there.
That was
Oh my
all of
gosh.
us.
I was like, was somebody talking? Oh, and yes, Brightspace wants it to have a point value if it's going to be in the grade book. When we do go over grading, I will show you how to set something up as pass or fail, but you still have to give it a grade value. So here are different examples, and one thing, do I have one that has? Oh, I don't. We did finally just get the update that I feel like everybody's been wanting. It now shows the word count when somebody posts a thread, because 9 times out of 10, part of your rubric or your instructions is you want X number of words. And as the student is writing, when they're creating their post, it shows them the number of words, but it didn't for you. But now after their thread, it would show however many words are on there. And likewise, there is a way to go all the way back up. Add a rubric. Add a rubric to anything. So this is a discussion rubric. It's an example. I don't think they're going to go to a different course. So I've got I want to be able to show you how it looks different to assess. Each tool calls it something different. There's assess, there's grade, there's view submissions. I don't have any topics in here. Well, I don't have anything to grade, but if there were something in here to look at, it would be assess topic. I don't even see assess topic. And with the assignment tool, it's view submissions. And then over here, that's where you would see your rubric if you've put a rubric in here. And then, well, this one is observed in person, so there's nothing here to look at. And as you go through, you can either save them or you can publish them. If you choose not to publish them after you're all done, publish means to push it to the gradebook. So you could select all and then push that feedback to the gradebook. Sorry, the main reason I am sitting in the dark is I am getting over a migraine and I feel like my brain is a little foggy. I had to write myself notes to make sure I stay on track. Okay, so those were the high points for the assignment and the discussion tool. Pretty much the same way, after you've created your discussion, you can go into whatever week it is that you want to put it. Since it is an existing activity that you just created, go to the discussion and grab whatever discussion it is. I'll also show you here that if you want to change things, I'm going to edit properties in place. That one was when you see a broken topic, that means somehow when it was copied over, it lost its connection. So I'm just going to go back and grab whatever it was that I wanted it to match to. All right. I'm going to go back one more page so it looks normal. Okay, so now when I do edit properties in place, that's where I can see the tab to add or edit the due date and whatnot. You can also edit that when you're in the discussion tool, but if you're already here and you wanted to change something, you could change those right there. And then this little HTML editor, you can change your instructions from here as well. That's going to bug me, so I'm going to go ahead and change that. All right, and the big one is quizzes. And I think a lot of the questions that I have are about quiz settings. So I'm just going to go in, instead of creating a new one, I'm going to edit just so we can like look at the highlights, because I really feel like next week, even though it's just a hands-on in general, I think we might look more at if you have a quiz that you're editing that we can go in and look at kind of a one-on-one. Okay, so first and foremost, you can create little like subsections, which puts them in order. A lot of the nursing faculty will have like a different instructor for each of these subsections, which is why I was thinking when Nicole was talking about sharing, I even in a live course that is happening a lot, that, you know, so-and-so is doing this section, but so-and-so is doing this section. It happens even in live courses, because as the semester goes on and, you know, content needs to be revised, as long as there are no active submissions, because you would like get a little this up here that somebody has already taken a quiz, that would be problematic, because if you go in and change a question, it's only going to affect anyone that takes it from then after. So we'll go over that at a different point, but so you can create subsections, and that would be under the create new and section. And what this is also like grouping them together. So you could also go new question and just, you know, pull one in this way, like literally create it from scratch. And I don't know in the in the test site, if you're going to have a full, well, you'd have a question library that would pull from any other quizzes that are already in that course. So if you wanted to grab a question that is in another quiz, you would go to your question library, drop down the source, and then you could see, like if you're putting together your final exam. I wanted, you know, I was pulling together questions from a final exam. I could pull questions that I'd used in a different quiz by picking, and it'll tell you right here, I've already imported this before, the ones that you want to import. And it'll put anything at the very, very bottom. That's just how Brightspace is. It puts it at the bottom, and then you can drag and move it to another section. And just because you've pulled it from there, you can still edit it. What a weird question. Okay. That's interesting. Yes, of course, NMC is a great college. Worth 5 points. What a strange tangent, Sonia. I'm so sorry about that. I'm telling you, my brain is not 100%.
We're glad to have you here. We'll
Okay,
take you
so-
any way we can get you, because your brain's significantly better at this than ours is, and yours might be impaired, but you're still far better than Spencer or I at this, so we'll take it.
That is quite a compliment. Thank you. Okay,
Kind of.
so yeah, I'm going to go through quiz stuff more in depth. I did want to, I think I talked about special access earlier. If you do have a student that needs accommodations, like they need time and a half, the way you would do that is to go to the class list. And I do have instructions also in the required pieces with a video and a corresponding little PDF. Go to the class list, pick whoever it is, and I'm not seeing the one I think I should be seeing. You know what? We're going to cheat and we're going to watch that video real quick. It is super quick. I didn't create this video. Heather Heinrich's awesome asset is the one that created it. Because typically when you click that drop down, there should be oh, that's just general accommodation. Here's the time accommodations. Yeah, there was no edit accommodations. I've been playing with soft chalk all morning, so we're need more soft chalk. I don't know if I'm having a little brain fart here, but I'm definitely going to investigate this and come back to it. Okay, so that would be if they needed time and a half or like additional time just across the board. It's easier to do it from the class list versus going into each quiz and setting it up in the quiz itself. But yeah, those instructions are in the P3 content, and I will figure out why I'm not seeing that. And yeah, under supplemental, I do have the links to more information on different programs that you can utilize within your Brightspace course that are, I think we talked about Turnitin just a little bit. Eventually, we're going to get to special uses for UJA. I don't think Go React is used as much in nursing. And I know that Colleen, I was just helping Colleen Steinhauser with soft chalk, so I know that's still being used with nursing, but not as common. So that's why I put it in supplemental. But those resources are here if you wanted to look at them. The only other thing I think I wanted to mention is groups. Groups you would think of more as like a group assignment, but a lot of the nursing faculty, especially for clinicals, will put students in groups just to make it easier to manage. So these are all of Allison's students, these are all of Sarah's students, that sort of thing. And what this is most helpful for is if there is
Grading their clinical assignments.
yes. So if you are in one, I don't know if I have groups in here, but you can go to grades. And if you want to look at just those that are in your group, I don't have any in this one. Oh, because I'm in the faculty launch. I think I do have groups in here. But yeah, and I think, was that Nicole?
It was.
Yeah. Makes it a lot easier so you're not having to sift through everybody if you just want to see your students. So right here, it defaults to user. You can change it to group. I don't have any groups in here, but if I did, it would be just yours. And it's going to be the same if you were in assignments or in quizzes, that you can just look at your own groups. There is a way in discussions. This is not used nearly as much, but I do have instructions in how to do groups. If you're going to do a certain set of students that are only doing a question per se of a in a weekly module that you want just certain students, there is a way to do that in there. It's not used nearly as often, but I do have those instructions in the B3 content. Am I going too fast?
No?
Are there any specific questions that you guys have about creating assignments, discussions, or quizzes?
So we're having a discussion on, I have a checklist of skills that they have to complete at the 100 level.
Mhm.
But the checklist in here just is, like, there's no way for the faculty initial that they've done it, right? Like, there's no, is it best to, I don't know, I was trying to figure out the best way to do a, without, I mean, there's like 50 skills, so we didn't want to have an assignment for each one and have to go through. We wanted to have them all on one page. But I wasn't sure if that was a Brightspace option or if I was better off having just the PDF that they then put into their Notability and we sign it on their iPads and then re-upload it.
I think a lot of faculty are actually using a Google Doc for that,
Okay,
just so that it's in real time and that all of the faculty and students have access to it. And it's not, you don't have to upload or, yeah,
same way they do their course objectives.
yeah.
Do you have like the weekly clinical evaluations?
Yeah. So just doing
That's what they
another,
did. That's what they did for 400, was just use a Google Doc for the skills, for their first skills lab before they went to clinical.
okay,
And we just marked them as pass or fail on that.
okay. Okay. That could work. I'll have to convince them. They didn't want Google Doc, they wanted it in Brightspace. I'm like, I don't think.
mean, that could be a let me go back to my test course. A use for the text box. If you want to have something that's in the grade book that shows that it was done, even though you're using an outside source, you could create an activity.
Gotcha, okay.
And then you would call it like skill check off. I imagine it would get to be like you'd have to have 50 of them, and they would just, put like who they met with or, task completed, that sort of thing, just so if you wanted to have something associated in the grade book.
Right, okay.
And it would be the text submission.
Well, if other levels are doing it as a Google Doc, it seems like we should just start that at the 100 level. Just make it consistent across all levels for the students to know, okay.
Or like, do the students have like a list to know what stations they've gone to? So as soon as they go to that station, like faculty can initial it and then they can just upload that piece of paper. So then you don't have to make 50 assignments, but just one
Like a
skills
station
check off.
for each day that they're doing it.
Yeah, a skills check off submission, and then once they have all their skills sheet checked off, they upload that, and then
That could work. Okay, ideas.
That's a good idea, though. 'Cause that way, they've figured out in their 100 level what the processes are, and then each time that,
I think the discussion was, because these are ones they have to do if they want to get licensed as a nursing assistant when they finish our course. So we need to have permanent documentation if they come back in 2 years and say, oh, we want to be CNA certified now, that they went through everything.
went through everything.
And the Google Docs aren't necessarily permanent, but Brightspace is, if that's my understanding, like you can go back and see it. So I've got a couple ideas, so I'll take back to my team. I was just, more curious what the Brightspace options were.
Synapses aren't clicking. I feel like there is. I like it's just because there are so many, the skills checkoffs, there's so many of them.
Yeah, because I mean, Erin had looked at the badges as an option, but putting all of them in there seemed cumbersome. So I just said, right now I just have it's a Excel spreadsheet on my Google Drive. As we're trying to work through which ones we need to actually do. But part of me is like, oh, I could just make that a PDF, put it in Notability, we can sign it on their iPads, and then they can just upload it. That was my newest.
I've got an example of how to do that. The sonography folks have actually written an entire workbook around that. So if you want to talk to somebody that's done it,
okay,
they can show you what they did. And it's pretty cool.
I like that. I hate to reinvent the wheel if there is there's something already out there that's working. Just because I was playing with SoftChalk this morning, there is a way. SoftChalk has one of its options. I'm gonna open one of my files to generate a certificate after they have completed, because you can do little quizzes. So that is it would be a URL. You would create it here, put a URL into your course, and then since you manage your own SoftChalk, you could go back into it. But I think the tricky thing would be is if that student 3 years from now wants to get that certificate again and the person that, taught it isn't with Methodist anymore.
Yeah. That's why I think keeping it in Brightspace, at least having the final checklist when they're all done, all complete, uploaded, probably needs to live in Brightspace.
Yes. So I could see like a living doc either in Notability or in Google Doc or Google Sheet, but then that its final one with all of its checkoff signatures or initials or whatever then gets uploaded.
Yeah.
So there's an archived version. I see where you're going there. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. No, that works.
I'm going to make a written note because I don't trust my mental notes today. I'm also going to make a written note about my accommodation question. Okay. All right. I think we are down to the last 5 minutes. I've covered what I wanted to cover, I think. I will say that next week we don't have, at least for Brightspace, a lot of a set amount of content to cover that I really want to, if you guys have a quiz that you want to work on for editing and whatnot, to go through that just a little bit more in depth.
It's your chance to work on the areas where you want to work on and get some hands-on time with it.
Yeah.
Okay. Perfect. Sounds good.
Alrighty.
Yeah. So is there a way that because the sandbox that you have for me, Sonia, right now is all like clinical stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't know if there was a way to like add in like the classroom stuff or
hopefully it is downloaded now and I can go in.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah, that's the only class that I have.
Can I ask an unrelated to Brightspace question of you? So, Kimberly wants us to update our CD, which I've done, and I have it as a document. I think it's in my Google Drive right now. And then I was supposed to upload it to here, but when I click on that, I can't figure out.
Uploaded that?
You need to do this too.
Yeah.
I can't figure out how to add mine into here. Like, it says that the folder is somewhere I saw. I don't know, like my daughter was trying to help me and she's like, well, the folder is view only, but I don't know how Dixie and Kristen got theirs in there. Oh, maybe it was under her details and activity. Is that where it's gonna be read only? So maybe do I need to ask? Or view only, I mean. Like manage access.
Yeah, you wouldn't do that. I mean, you should. So.
No, just do, yeah, play.
And it's this one right here, correct?
So this is my I think I made a copy of it because I was trying to get it in there, but yes, I think it's in there. That's what's on my drive. But I don't.
Are you finished up with us then?
Yep, I'm gonna
Okay,
import
good.
your 401 into
So
this
you-
sandbox for you, and then I'll send you the link.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and stop recording and exit out.
Sounds great. Thanks for your help.
Thank you. Have a good afternoon.
Get yourself better.
Yeah, thank you. Bye-bye.
You bet. Goodbye.
That was the